What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, your authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. And how are we all doing? Are we having a nice weekend so far? What have we been up to? Get involved in the comments and talk to me. We are going to talk today about Branthwaite bid going in, supposedly, but not for the 75 million quid that Everton want, and certain PSR rules kind of regulating certain situations. United to launch another bid for João Neves. I wonder what that's going to be improved to. Steinberg agenda against Kobbie Mainoo. Well, just the English media against Kobbie Mainoo in general. I definitely want to get into that. And also, we had Romano announced last night, whilst we was live, that Thomas Tuchel has been in talks with United this week. So what does that mean for Erik ten Hag's future? I will get into that very, very shortly. But I'm asking how everyone is. Let me tell you about the morning that I have had. It's been an absolute nightmare. So I hope you don't mind, but just for the next 2 minutes, I'll tell you exactly how my morning went, right? So I got up. Girlfriend went off to work. She works weekends. I went and made myself a coffee, started cleaning up a little bit, and I just had this like weird feeling in my gut that just something was, like something's off. I was sat there, I was like, I don't know what it is. Just something doesn't feel right. So just to give you a bit of a backstory to this before I get deeply into it for anyone who gives a shit. I have 3 house kittens / cats, so they don't go outside. They just stay in, right? There's Lola, Bruno. People who've been watching the streams for a while would have seen little kittens when they jump on my seat before. Lola, Bruno, and Skittles, right? Skittles is like the big chubby one. Bruno is the tiny cute one. And Lola's a bit mad, like a bit skitty and mad, but the quirky one, let's just say, for example, right? So, my girlfriend's in a rush. She's rushing about, blah, blah, blah. Leaves the window open because it's a very long story. I'll try and condense it as much as I can. Well, leaves the window open in the bathroom for a reason because one of the older cats who I have as well, because I have 2 older cats that don't get along with the smaller cats. So you kind of have to be segregated like some sort of like HMP prison, right? So they're segregated, so they can't clash with each other. So you have to keep separate rooms open and stuff like that, right? I know this is a very long-winded story, and I'll get round to the point, I promise you. So she's left the window open by accident. I don't know about this. She's in a rush, so it's fair enough. It is what it is. And I'm just sat there, and I just didn't have this right feeling whatsoever. And I start hearing some, like, scratching, and I'm like, what the fuck's that sound? And I'm like, so I mute the TV. I have Sky Sports News on at the time. I mute the TV, and I'm like, what is that? What is that sound? So I go into the bathroom, right? 2 of the kittens, one's on the bath, and one's on the kind of desk thing, the cupboard thing, looking at the brother dangling out of the window, so you could just see the back paws that are like, so he's obviously gone to dive out and thought, oh shit, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And you could just see his back paws like that. So he's basically head diving out the window with just his paws dangling on it. And I'm like, oh shit. So I've like kind of stood on the bath, gone to grab the cat shit itself, jumped out of the window, and then gone onto the shed, right? And where the shed is like glass leading down to it from the window, and the glass is cracked. It's quite fragile thingy, so I couldn't climb out the window onto the glass. Otherwise, it would have been goodbye, Nick. Goodbye to Real Red Talk, and goodbye to the show. So what I've done is, I've gone, right, Mum, you go upstairs, you keep an eye on, make sure nothing happens, the other 2 don't escape the asylum. I'll climb onto the shed, I'll get the cat, everything will be sweet, right? Perfect. So, again, I know it's a long story, I will get into the football in a minute, I promise you. So, I had this garden gate at the side of the shed that is, when I say fragile, it is the Anthony Martial of gates. Let's just say that's the perfect way to describe it. It is flaky. And I'm quite a big lad, as you all know. I weigh quite a bit. So I thought, you know what? I need to get this cat off the shed. It's never been out before. It's panicking. It don't have a clue what's going on. I need to get this cat off the shed. So I start climbing up this flimsy gate, right foot on, onto the shed. I've got up. Whew. Sweet. Fine. I think, right, how do we get it down now? Because I can't get it back through the window because of the glass that I mentioned before. So what do? I had to pass the cat down, almost like chuck it to my mum off the shed, right? Which caused a kerfuffle in itself and a load of scratches and shit. And then I was like, right, I've got to get myself down now onto that flimsy gate. So, again, I'm not the most agile, people that look at me think LeBron James, athletic, you know what I'm saying? So I start turning onto my stomach on the shed and climbing down. I put my left foot on the gate. The panel goes dumph, just snaps off completely. So I thought, oh, that's a great start. Fantastic. Exactly where we want to be. I'm on my stomach. The thing's falling underneath me. So I'm now hanging off the shed with my feet nowhere to like plant my feet, holding my own weight up, which I'm probably about 100 kilograms more, 110, holding my own weight up. I'm trying to find to plant my right foot somewhere. I'm like panicking. I find somewhere. I'm like, oh, thank God. Put the pressure on it, go to get down, and the full thing just completely snaps off. So I fall off the shed into the bushes, on my ass, on my back, like that. With, like, if you can see my leg now, if I can bring my camera, it's all my legs bruised, the scratches everywhere. And my mum was like, Nick, what's that noise? What's that noise? And I'm like, help me get up. I'm like mangled in a bush, looking like some kind of squashed hedgehog. And she helps me get up. I lose my Crocs in the bushes. It's been a bit of a mad start. I'm sorry, that took about 10 minutes to tell, but that was my morning this morning. So if you've stood on a plug, go fuck yourself, is what I'm saying. Yeah? How are we all doing? How are we all doing? We're all fantastic. Sorry, that's a very long-winded story, but basically, it's been a nightmare. And I've not even eaten food yet because I had to set up the stream for this. And I had to put a clip out as well. So I've not even eaten. So just bear with me whilst I have some water. Absolute nightmare. Right. Let's read out some comments and then we'll get into the football stories, yeah? Okay, so we've got Steph in the chat. We've got Richard. Very nice to see you. We've got George, who I've not seen before. Please do hit that subscribe button. Afternoon, Nick. Legend. Thank you, Steph. Appreciate that. Branthwaite has been left out of England team. He's not worth 50, 45 million for him. I'm going to discuss Branthwaite first. Lola is like my wife, mad and stupid. Oh, wow. Very strong words there, Richard. Are we not getting Elise again? No stories on Elise recently, from what I've seen. Dino saying, I have a Siamese cat called Lestat. He's my golden boy, sat on my lap now. He's my shadow. Yeah, I've always been a cat person. Video of this would have been gold. I mean, I wouldn't release that. Maybe I'd release it for members. I'd give it you members and put it out there. Does any neighbours have any footage, Nick? Can they send it into you being framed? I hope not. To be honest, it's like that my side garden is so, like, it's a lot of greenery. Do you know what I mean? So even if there was any kind of CCTV or footage, which I hope not, maybe actually from the house across the way from there, maybe they'll probably have footage actually, because I'm sure they've got a door alarm. So if I could get that I promise you, if I can get that footage, I'll put it on the members. I'll give it to the members. Adam saying, if we can't get Neves, do you think we should go for Archie Gray from Leeds? A very good player. I don't really like dealing with Leeds. Why am I not surprised you're a cat guy? I'm being roasted by Tom in the TikTok people. If we can't get Neves, do you think we should go for Archie Gray? I don't really like dealing with Leeds, but he is a top player. So it's someone I'll be looking at, and people sniff their noses at the Championship. But don't forget, James Maddison came from the Championship. Dele Alli came from MK Dons, was it? There's been loads. So yeah. No, Nick, I'm not good. Was pissed yesterday. Woke up, had my fry up, went back to bed with a large vodka. So you are starting your Saturday early. 19 watching and only 11 likes, says Steph. And Charlie says, we have actually bid for Archie Gray. Not sure if it got rejected. Came across the league channel. And we're raging about it. Oh, Dino Lewis has gifted one Real Red Talks membership. Absolute legend and a part of the cat community. It was gifted a membership by Dino. And JTO was gifted a membership. So you might actually get access. JTO might actually get that exclusive video of me falling off a shed if you want to see that. How is it, bro? Love from South Africa, says Bradley Stevens. Love, brother. Love it when other people are watching from different countries. Hope you're all doing well on this Saturday. Right, we're going to dive into the stories now because I've spoken about myself for a lot longer than I anticipated. So, Manchester United are interested in Jarrod Branthwaite but won't be held to ransom if Everton seek a quick deal. Everton are attempting to hold out for a £75 million fee for the defender and could seek to sell him before June the 30th. United are in a delicate position around PSR and have a number of other centre-backs on their list of targets, including Juventus's, Richard, you'll like this one, Gleason, Bremer, and Bayer Leverkusen's Edmund Tap Sober. That's coming from Ty Marshall with the MEN. And then we have C. Beasley from the Echo, who reports around clubs in Liverpool and sport around Liverpool, saying that Manchester United's Chiefs are now expecting to complete a deal for Jarrod Branthwaite before June the 30th, with Everton attempting to hold out for a £75 million fee, which is a lot of money. First and foremost, I know England were on last night, and I'm going to get into that performance, and I'm going to talk about Kobbie Mainoo in a moment. But why the fuck has Southgate not picked Branthwaite? Can anyone come up with a logical reason why he's not picked him? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So first and foremost, I think, does that decrease his value in any sense that he's not been picked for the Euros? Maybe United could use that as a bargaining chip. I have absolutely no idea. One thing I'm absolutely sure about is you cannot pay 75 million quid for Branthwaite. That is ridiculous. Okay? I put a poll up at the start of the show. What's a realistic price for Branthwaite? 0% says 75 to 100, so no one agrees with that. And I'm sure if you disagree in the TikTok, do let me know. Who do you think Man United will sign? I'll talk about that, Kelvin. 50 to 75 million says 48%, and 25 to 50 million, 52%. So the majority of people in the chat at the moment are saying 25 to 50 million pounds, sorry. And I think 50 million quid would be the realistic a realistic price, because if we're saying 75 or Everton are holding out for 75, let's say they're trying to drive a hard bargain, right? Is he worth £50 million more than Todibo? No, he's not. Because the reports was coming out from L'Equipe. Is it pronounced L'Equipe or L'Equipe? I'm not French, so I don't know. But you know the outlet that I'm talking about. If they're saying 20-odd million for Todibo, what on planet Earth, in what, any scenario, is Branthwaite worth an extra 50 million? Not a chance. Not a chance. In my opinion, I think we need to stop this kind of Brexit approach to buying players, because there are gems in Europe as well. You look at all the best centre-backs in the Premier League right now, think of them in your head. The majority of them are European or South American, right? So, Saliba, French. Gabriel, Brazilian. Van der Ven, Dutch. Van Dijk, Dutch. Kanate, French. Like, you can go through the full list. Of course, there's some. Maguire's had a good season. Stones has been a decent centre-back for City for a long time, right? But I'm saying the ones that are in form and the prestigious ones in the Premier League are foreign. So this kind of Brexit Premier League proven approach, I've never always agreed with. It's like, right, I get it. It's not as much of a risk because in a sense they played in the Premier League before, so you know the assessment in that sense. But then it's a risk because you're spending 75 million quid, And it can go the other way. You have Anthony, who's 85 million quid, who came from the Eredivisie, and that didn't work out. So you need to balance it out. But I just don't think that, what I'm saying is they shouldn't have just a sole focus on, we want this prime English centre-back who's young, who's got a lot of potential. Why not look at Todibo? Why not look at Lenny Yoro? I think Lenny Yoro, 40 million quid. Almost half the price of what Everton are asking for Branthwaite. Would you not rather do that deal? Surely? I don't know. George Murmur, please, where do you get your information from? So, in regards to the articles that I've just discussed, one's the MEN, and one is C. Beasley of Liverpool Echo. So, they're the guys who are reporting it. So, if you kind of insinuate that I'm talking nonsense, this is a news show, and I'm reporting what's been reported. So, if you don't agree with it, absolutely fine. Richard saying Todibo above Branthwaite. Dino saying could use the 30 million over signings too. He has a 15% sell-on clause. Why did I say it like that? Sell-on clause. A 15% sell-on clause, and Branthwaite is worth 70 plus. Don't want to pay it, leg it. That's absolutely fine. I would leg it. 70 million plus. Stop talking nonsense. I've never paid that in my life. Talking utter nonsense. Anyway, let's move on from Branthwaite. And I want to talk about João Neves, who's probably going to be another very expensive player. Apparently, we already put a bid in. How true it is, this was coming out from Portuguese media, so, take it with a pinch of salt. Apparently, we already put a bid in for 51 million pound, I think it was, for João Neves. Obviously, his release clause is around 100 million pound. I know his agents have been around Carrington, so the same agent for João Neves, I think, is the agent for Eight Nore and Pedro Neto. It might be George Mendes. It's part of the same kind of group. So, obviously, there's interest there. They are talking with agents and stuff. If a bid has been put in and they've rejected 51 million quid, this is a deal that could get expensive, because if they're just saying, no, we want 100 million pound, United just simply cannot afford that. We can't afford to spend 100 million quid on one player this summer. Not a chance. Not a chance. You think about that. Let's say, all right, we get Branthwaite and we get Neves, 175 million quid. It's just not realistic. Come on. It's not realistic at all, is it? I would be hugely impressed if we managed to land this deal for a decent price. If we can get him for, let's say, what we was talking to De Jong for. Let's say, no, a little bit less. Let's say 60 to 70 million. I would be okay with that because I think what you're going to get in return, what he brings to the pitch, which I'll get into metrics and stuff in a moment, I think is a phenomenal player. I think he's really, really good. And having Mainoo, Bruno, and João Neves as a midfield combination is absolutely disgusting. So let's dive into a couple of his stats. So his passing accuracy, often exceeding 85%, which is obviously crucial for maintaining possession and orchestrating the midfield, which we need. Defensive contributions and work rate is good as well. An average of 2.5 tackles and 1.5 interceptions per game. Obviously showcases his ability to break up opposition play. Dribbling, I don't even have to talk about stats. There was a clip on international duty the other day where he was in like a tight-knit area with 3 or 4 people around him, just inside out, boom, boom, boom. Release the ball out of his feet, completing around 1.8 dribbles per game with a success rate of approximately 70%. So, like I said, the ability to kind of navigate through tight spaces, maintain controlled pressure, adds that kind of dynamic edge to his game, 100%. Versatility, we can push forward. He's really good in the final third, but he can also sit deep and dictate. And like I said, he's a bit of a blend. He's got quite a well-rounded arsenal, I would say, for a football player. Ironically, because Arsenal are obviously linked with him. And then you look at his key passes as well. He averages about 1.2 key passes per game. Vision and a capability to create goal-scoring opportunities. That is the kind of midfielder that I would go for. Top player. Massive, huge fan of him, but the price is going to be the big one. And, people mention his age and stuff, and he's quite inexperienced in that sense, but the amount Benfica have been trusting him and playing him in the Champions League and in the league games, and even Portugal as well, goes to show, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Kobbie Mainoo is a shining example of that. And in them two players together, you've got, a midfield there for the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years, hopefully, if you can keep hold of him for that long. So, yeah, I think he's a phenomenal player. He would be my number 1 target in the midfield. Originally, it was Amadou Onana, but I've gone off him a little bit. I like the first half of the season from him, but he's raw as well, and then Everton are going to ask for a lot of money for him. So, not even bid for him, says Dan. We will not get him. Well, the reports are we bid 51 million, and I know we've been talking to his agents. So, put 2 and 2 together. There's something in it. There's definitely something in it. Whether they actually have bid or not, I don't know. I can't actually confirm, but there is definitely something in it. On Kobbie Mainoo, I thought the media last night was an absolute disgrace. I don't know if anyone saw the article. I think it was from The Guardian with Jake Steinberg giving Kobbie Mainoo like a rating of 4. And he was basically claiming the midfield was shit because of a 19-year-old. I don't know how he got to that conclusion. Because Declan Rice played shit. Kobbie Mainoo was the problem in the midfield, though, apparently. And I'll read out the quotes from it. So, Kobbie Mainoo is quickly becoming a scapegoat, and the kid's 19 years old. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. Declan Rice needs a more disciplined partner than Mainoo. England were too open. Expect Conor Gallagher to return. 5. Mainoo allowed Iceland to move through midfield too easily before their goal. Lacked physicality and nous. 4. And I think, you know what? There'll be rival fans on YouTube and TikTok now saying overhyped, whatever, blah, 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 all this kind of nonsense. But I think us, as a collective and as a community, have a duty of protecting these kind of young kids who are going off into international duty from the media, because they will absolutely destroy him. We've seen it with players before. And don't forget, Steinberg as well was the one who leaked all the stuff about the manager. So Ineos are probably fuming with him about that as well, because he put the stuff out about McKenna and that United have been talking to McKenna, and then a whole kind of book of worms opened in it in that whole situation. So, yeah, I don't like seeing stuff like this. Like, he's 19. What is his 3rd start for England, 4th start for England? Or something ridiculous. You've got players in there who have a lot more caps under the belt. They'll take the criticism on. I remember Onana saying in his interview, I'm here to take shots. I'm the experienced player. Let the kid grow. Let him learn. Let him develop. And don't be too harsh in your fucking critique. It's absolutely ridiculous. David Harrington saying shouldn't be going over 40, but to be honest, we paid under 47 for Martinez before add-ons. Good Belfast accent, Nick. I'll give you my Belfast accent. I'll try it. If you're from Belfast, aren't you, Richard? I know. I think you said you was born in the UK, didn't you? But you, or am I just hearing things? I'll give you my Belfast accent, but I've got a bit of a nasally thing going at the moment. So, let me try it. Listen here, you beanhead. Is that any good? You've got a bee in your bonnet. That's my Belfast accent. Hopefully Bennett and or Kambwala get squad time next season, plus signing a solid centre-back to replace Varane. Left Hand Lee says Ratcliffe has said he ain't spending big money on players, so he ain't going 75. He's worth 40 tops. 40, 50, I would say, left hand. I agree in that sense. Media just tried to trigger United fans because we have the most fans, more clicks as well as agenda. No mention of Kane, Mr. Sitter. Agendas, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Too much money. Everyone's on the same path here. What a great start. Well, not a great start to the Saturday because the story... because the story I mentioned before. But in terms of the show and onwards, chronologically, we're moving forward. Ritz Carfalai says Branthwaite is class. Southgate isn't right in the head. You know what? To have the talent that you had on the pitch last night, I didn't even watch it. I watched, I think, like 30 minutes and I got bored. I watched the first half and I was just like, this is just shit. Like, how can you have that much talent on the pitch and on your bench, by the way? Arguably the most talent England has ever had, ever, in the squad. Like, depth-wise. And you have one shot on target against Iceland. And this is supposed to be the guy who's going to take over at United and bring us back to glory. I'm sorry. And this isn't scaremongering. I'm not saying United are going to go get Southgate, but I'm sorry, but if that's your answer to the problem, I don't want to know the question. Do you know what I'm saying? That performance last night, I mean, it'll talk about injuries and certain things and, oh, this guy's missing. Like, look at the players you've got on the pitch, man. Iceland are ranked at like 70-odd in the world, I think. How on earth are you having one shot on target and losing 1-0 to him? Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. You should be smashing them 3-4-0. You've got Cole Palmer, Kane, Mainoo, Rice, Foden. Ridiculous team. A ridiculous setup with the opposition that you have. 100%. If we can smash a like on the video, I'd absolutely be internally grateful. There's quite a few of you in the chat. So likewise with TikTok, if you are on there and you want to head over to the YouTube, we're live with the community on there. You get more kind of graphic-based stuff. So yeah, if you want to head over there, then click the link in the description on the TikTok. We're on 5,349 subscribers at the minute. So even if there's one person in the chat who hasn't subscribed yet, please do hit that. We're trying to hit 5,400 maybe by the end of the month. Oh, no, yeah, we'll do that by the end of the month. Let's say 5,500 by the end of the month. That'd be amazing. Should we move on to Thomas Tuchel? Because Romano put something out whilst me, Sam and Chivy were live last night. So make sure you guys check that out as well if you've got no content to watch. As I know, Saturdays can be a little bit dry, can't they? For content in itself. So yeah, Romano put something out about Tuchel whilst we was live, saying United have been having internal discussions with Thomas Tuchel specifically this week. What that means, absolutely no idea. At this point, I don't have a clue who the new manager is going to be, because it feels like there's a new manager every single week. Every single week, it's someone new. It's Poch. Oh, it's Tuchel. It's Xavi. It's Potter. It's Thomas Frank. It's, you know, every single week. It's a guessing game at the minute. I think because Ineos are staying relatively watertight on this situation, I think a lot of reporters are really just trying to go before or guess. You've seen DiMarzio come out and say he's going to be sacked. You've seen Steinberg come out and say he's going to be sacked. You haven't seen Ornstein or Romano. It's just said, you know, talks are ongoing for the majority that we've seen from them. You had a couple of people go early, basically, and try call it. I don't know. I'm just as confused as everybody else at the minute. I do think Tuchel, excuse me, I do think Tuchel is probably the best one out of the ones that are available, but I've always said this about Tuchel. The guy's, the longest he's been at a club is 2 years. So if Ineos want a squad builder and they just want a pure coach and someone who's not necessarily going to be conflicting, is Thomas Tuchel the right guy going forward? You know? I don't know. I don't think he suits that, in my opinion. George is saying Elise would be very good. I like Elise, but why buying table polish without the table? That's what I'd say. Subscribe, brother. Thank you, Left Hand Lee. Appreciate that, brother. DTC says Todibo, Thuram from Nice, Fofana from Monaco, 75 million for 3 players, no brainer. Fofana, I absolutely agree with. When we did that transfer window show and we was discussing kind of cheap options that we can get, who would be the good squad depth or as a starter alongside Mainoo, I think Fofana for 25 mil is an absolute no-brainer. But again, French League, in terms of translating, doesn't always work, does it? There's a gamble with it, but like I said before, there's always a gamble. You know what I'm saying? Ables 2009 says Ten Hag in. Love that, Ables, supporting the manager. Charlie saying that's the thing with what United plan to do. They can have a manager for 2 years and still continue with what they have planned. It makes more sense to me to keep hold of Erik Ten Hag, but you guys already know that. You know I believe in that, and you know I've said that for a long time. It just does. It just does. And I'd love to see him stay. I think if he does go, I'd be absolutely devastated. Benny Bauer followed me on TikTok. Thank you very much. We're trying to get to 30k on TikTok. I think we're 900 off. So even if there's people in YouTube that don't follow us on Real Reds Talk, see what I did there? It's actually called that. Then drop us a follow over on there. We're close to 30k. Booms is in the chat. Big up Booms. He's in the chat the majority of the shows that we do. So really appreciate that, brother. I've changed my mind on Ten Hag. I want him to stay for now, says Booms. Very nice. Ten Hag, I'll be given one more chance, says Benny. Musty saying, I hope we don't get Branthwaite. Very interesting. Sadiq Rahman, Todibo is a better value as a centre-back than Branthwaite. Is he, though? I don't know. Is he a better centre-back than Branthwaite, Todibo? I don't know. It's a question in itself. I've seen a lot of Branthwaite. I've seen more of Branthwaite than I have of Todibo. But I do like Todibo. I think you look at his individual qualities. 1v1, very good. Can defend in wide areas. He's fantastic on the ball. The only one thing I have with Todibo when I've done kind of scouting videos on him is he's not great in the air. He's not fantastic in the air. And the kind of old school defending bits he's not great at either. So if you have a partnership of Lissandro and Branthwaite, aerially, you're going to struggle to dominate. Now, if you keep hold of Maguire, maybe you can play him in certain games. You've seen Maguire come in and just dominate the box. Everton, he always has a good game against Everton. And we know how much of a physical team Everton are. But in reality, you need one who's the complete hybrid in that sense, don't you? That's why all the defenders I mentioned before, Van Dijk, Kanate, Van der Ven, Saliba, Gabriel, all quick, fantastic 1v1, fantastic on the ball, fantastic in the air. And I appreciate that's very hard to scout and get a player who ticks every single one of them lists. But I would like a well-rounded defender. And I do think Todibo's a little bit deficient in certain areas. But people can improve. Can you improve on it aerially? I don't know. I'm not sure. French League have a lot of money trouble going on, especially on the TV rights. Could be a great place to pick up bargains. And I think Nice, the fact that Ratcliffe owns Nice for now, and obviously has connections throughout the French League. I always said he's going to tap into that. No doubt he will tap into that because they already have contacts with the agents and stuff. I think that there'll be a lot of French players suggested, like Thuram's and Todibos. Bremer, I know you're a fan of Bremer, Richard. I know you're a Bremer, but again, each centre back has their deficiencies. Bremer's not fantastic on the ball. But pure defending wise is great. So maybe he would work with Lissandro in that sense. Maybe they would complement each other. Ozzy Amandes says Branthwaite is Maguire 2.0. Palmer cooked him in the Chelsea match. George Mermer's also suggesting Bremer as well. There was news last night that Ineos is selling Nice. Yeah, so me, Chivy and Sam discussed that briefly. It makes sense. You need to focus on United. It was always going to happen. And then you got obviously all the drama with the European stuff that's ongoing as well. So I could see that from afar, to be honest with you. Right, so for the last... It is Saturday. So I appreciate people probably want to do stuff and whatever it is. But the last 5 minutes, let's just have a live Q&A. Nothing's off the table. Fire whatever question you want to do right now, and we will discuss it as a community, as a group, wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, whatever you're watching this on. Get involved. Any questions? Because I like it sometimes you get sporadic questions that you're not expecting, and you can kind of dive into it a little bit. I feel we could bring Shaw to centre-back and bring in another left-back. Maybe, but it does Shaw want to play there permanently? I think he likes playing at left-back. Lissandro's a world-class ball player. We need a no-nonsense defender like De Ligt. Interesting. We have been previously linked with De Ligt before. I don't think personally it'd be the right choice, but I take your point on what you're saying. I would not mind Branthwaite for 40 to 45 million, says Sadiq, but not for 75 million. Again, agreed. Richard, will my head get better? In time heals everything, Richard. If it's anything I've learned, I say it's like a 66-year-old during my life. Time is a healer. And also, stay hydrated. In fact, you want to know the perfect cure for a hangover, right? I'm pretty sure I saw it. So you take like a bottle of water, you get a pinch of like Himalayan pink salt, I think it is. You put it into another like glass of water and then take it out of that. So it's like very small amount back in, mix it up and then drink it. And apparently it's really good for hangovers. Try it and let me know. What's United's budget for this window? I can only speculate about this because there's been numerous people saying different things. I've seen 35 million on one, I've seen 100 million on the other. I would probably speculate around 100 million, I'd probably say. And then given how well we do on sales, maybe you could push it up to 150 and then sales as well. If we sell Sancho, Wan-Bissaka, a lot of it depends on selling well. So we have to sell well this summer. You know, if we keep all the Wan-Bissaka, Sanchos and these kind of guys, I'm not sure how much room there is to wiggle. Do you think we'll sign anyone by the end of June, Nick? If so, who would it be? Well, if you listen to a lot of credible people, the way they speak about it, there's stuff to do with FFP that's shocking. Like United are struggling with a little bit. So we may not actually buy anyone until the 1st of July. We may have deals ready and ready to go and have everything completed up until that point. But you may see a lot of activity after the 1st of July. From what I've listened to, from what I've read, that's what I fully believe. Maybe one will come through the door. Maybe a centre-back if it's an easy deal to do, like a Todibo, potentially. But I think your midfielders, the striker, maybe a wing-back, I'd probably say that they're the ones that'll come after it, in my opinion. But the transfer market's that mad. It's so hard to predict. England will lose to Serbia and Denmark and possibly get groups, given the form that they're in at the moment. That would not surprise me. DTC says Jimenez, Feyenoord, Elise, Thuram, Fofana, Todibo and Branthwaite affordable and doable. Is Poch a good match for United? Well, George, I'm gonna direct you to one clip that we put out at 12 o'clock today. It's on all of our socials, and it's a comparison between Ten Hag and Poch. So make of that what you will. Logan's saying 4 in a row, but you also have 115 charges, so that's fine, buddy. Dino's with some hangover advice there in the chat. Steph is saying we need to create our own budget with sales. Thanks, buddy. Thought so. Ozzy Mandy's only transfer I want is Elise. We could play academy defenders. And Daniel CA says, get me Neves. Absolutely. I love João Neves as a player. I think it's fantastic. Ryan Doyle, Tuchel style play, very bad. Wouldn't suit United. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Tuchel's been flexible at multiple clubs he's been to. Dortmund, he implemented more of a 4-3-3 kind of attacking rotational style of play. PSG switched up systems, 4-2-2, 4-2-3-1, you know, tweaked it quite a bit. At Chelsea, obviously went to the back five, was defensively sound, had players who could hurt you on the transition, but also good in possession as well. And then Bayern Munich, I haven't watched a lot of Bayern Munich, I have to be honest. I watched them a lot at Chelsea. Bayern Munich, from what I see, set up in like a 4-2-3-1 possession-based kind of game. I couldn't give too much kind of critique on thinking, do you know what I mean? So I don't know about Bayern Munich too much. How many times have you watched Neves? Quite a lot. I watched him quite a lot for Benfica. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't give an opinion on a player if I've not watched him. I wouldn't. Like I just said then with Bayern Munich, I ain't seen a lot of him, to be honest with you. Have you seen the Ratcliffe's looking to sell Nice? Yeah, we've spoken about that before, Ben. It doesn't surprise me. Martin Fit, hiya bro, hope you're all good. Thank you, Martin. Please do smash that like button. I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend so far. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. My leg is absolutely killing, man. Honestly, I need to get some painkillers. So sore. True, also you won the FA Cup. Well, that's very humble of you to say, Logan. Very humble of you. If you're new here, have you all subscribed? Please do, says Sam. Absolutely. Can this club buy players without getting absolutely rinsed? Well, that's the big question heading into this summer, innit? That is the huge question. I think there's going to be so much activity from the 14th onwards up until the end of August. I mean, we're going to be dry eyeballs in this. Not dry eyeballs, that makes it sound bad. We're going to be very, very active on this channel. I can absolutely guarantee you that. Maybe 3-4 times a day at some points with the amount of news that's going to be ongoing. Because you've still got imminent arrivals in Ashworth if he comes, if they manage to sort that nonsense that's ongoing during the summer, although it's most likely he's going to end up autumn time when that probably gets sorted. Barada starts mid-July, I think. The transfer window opens on the 14th. The Euros start on the 14th. July the 1st is a significant for a lot of clubs in the Premier League. So yeah, it's going to be so busy. It's going to be so busy. And we are going to be covering absolutely everything. So do hit that subscribe button if you can. I'm going to try to pronounce his name. Exfov Gikidev. Maguire and Rashford aren't doing any great job for the team, but you guys would rather sell Sancho and Wan-Bissaka. I would rather sell Well, look, I didn't say I wouldn't sell Maguire or Rashford either. So let's not bring in any kind of preconceptions. I would listen to offers for all of them players. Don't judge Rashford just this one bad season. Yeah, look, we go down a rabbit hole with Rashford. We really could. It wouldn't surprise me next season if he bounced back and scored 30 goals. He just dips and peaks and dips and peaks and done it his whole career. Is Neves an ideal partner for Mainoo with Bruno in the 10? I think so. The only thing, again, I would be slightly concerned with is the physicality in that sense. I know Neves is a great tackler. I know interceptions-wise, any kind of metric you look at is good at, but I'm talking like pure physical strength. Is Mainoo, Bruno, and Neves enough? I don't think so. I don't think it is. But again, we've still got Mason Mount as well that we've literally no one talks about because of how many injuries he's had this season. The truth is, we can't have an inconsistent player going forward, Rashford. Well, look, one thing I will say is he ain't going to get sold this summer. I'd be extremely surprised if Rashford went in the summer. I cannot see it whatsoever. I always mention the amount of players that we've got to sell. I can't see it. I can't see us getting rid of him. I think they've got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of players to bring in, a lot of players to ship off. Players like Rashford and Bruno will be the least of their priority, honestly. I genuinely believe that. So, yeah. Right, I will leave it at that, people. Go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'm going to go take some painkillers because my leg's absolutely killing. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are up to this weekend. Maybe leave it in the comments what you're getting up to. Hopefully you all enjoy it. Hopefully it stays nice weather as well wherever you are in England, or even if you're not in England. Hopefully it's nice weather. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll try put something out later on. I need to speak to the lads to see what the crack is, so we'll try put some out later on for you guys. And if not, we'll be back for Sunday Social tomorrow anyway. And most likely I'll be rough because I'll have a few whiskies tonight. So yeah, really appreciate every single one of you. I always say it at the end of every stream, and I might peck his head, but I don't care. I appreciate every single one of you who are always involved in the chat constantly. The community's growing every day. The channel's growing. The socials are blowing up. And it's because of you guys, effectively. So, yeah. Genuine appreciation for everyone in TikTok, in YouTube, wherever you're at. And I'll check you guys in the next one, yeah? Legends. Peace.